Jenny DeWitt. She is the townie tourist. She is sharing her exploration of Central Florida and beyond with her followers. She's actually done some in here, as you know, when we were walking around the fish tank. And she has over 12 years of experience in social media strategy and marketing, community management, crisis communication, and new media training for public and private corporations and organizations. She's also the queen bee of the Buttermilk Bakery Gang. We'll talk about that later. Jenny, come on up.
Thank you. Wow, that was an introduction that I wrote myself, so that was amazing. All right, so we have, oh, I'm wearing the same jacket. I didn't plan that, but now it's perfect. And Anna's capturing it all on video. Today we're going to talk about getting real social in a digital world. And what I have really gleaned so far from the presenters that I've seen today is that you're going to hear a few themes and words that you've already heard throughout the day. Essentially, it's about wellness, and it's a little bit of show and tell, and it's also very analog because there's no way I was going to try and make a Canva PowerPoint presentation in front of a room full of people who are designers. So I brought today, since I'm the townie tourist, I brought this little suitcase. Normally it holds a bunch of 16 millimeter films from my family. This belonged to my grandfather. He worked for the United States Postal Service for many years, and it actually says property of the United States government on it. So, wait, where is this video going? So this actually is the perfect little case because you can't see what's in it when I open it, and all the modern suitcases today open all the way, and so this is perfect. So this is my little show and tell game, and first I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, so you can, here we go. All right. Oh, more, thanks. Couple things you need to know about me. First off is that I'm a native Floridian. So I was born here in Orlando. Here we go. I was born here in Orlando the same year that Disney was built. Yes. I also am a feminist, and I am sober. And obviously, because those two are so fun, I'm also a killjoy. I am a huge proponent for education and helping young women learn more about themselves, their identity, the world around them, and how they relate to each other in a non-catty way. I'm a big supporter of an organization called Queens for Queens, and definitely look them up. This is one of my favorite shirts of all time, and what's interesting is, Avery, you were talking just recently about how you're in a meeting and you're banging on a table, and the guy, obviously it's a guy, because if a woman did that, in my experience, we would be total bitches. There's no way any dude would listen to us if we were banging on the table. For me, I had to learn how to play the game. So, and I'm not very good at it, by the way. And I'm also a huge proponent of great design. This is one of my new favorites. There's a designer out in California called Gentle Thrills, yes, and she airbrushes, and I'm super into airbrushing, so that I love design. I also love art and painting, and I am definitely creative. I have my gimbal here because I'm the townie tourist, and I just use this all the time. If you see me out and about in the community, you will most likely see me with this at an event, sharing this on live video. I'm really honestly trying to share the story of art and culture in Central Florida. I don't think that there's a voice or an outlet for that right now, and so makers, creators, anyone in the room that really would like a platform to share what you do, please get in touch with me. I can be your platform. I also have a couple of things in here that are slightly embarrassing. Here's my bikini top. I love the beach. I love being a Floridian, and I love the beach, and I love traveling all over Florida. It's really important to me to be a tourist in my own state because I think that there's such a misunderstanding about who we are in Orlando. We are so much more than a ring of condos around Disney. And while Disney, God bless them, they have created incredible resources, provided so much to our community in terms of buildings, philanthropy, support. That's not all we are. And so I work very hard to share that message and travel around. I also mentioned this earlier to Andrew, but I really like taxidermy. So this is not an actual camel. It's a small camel, not an actual mini camel. But anyway, this is a camel, and it's got, I think it's actual camel fur, which I think is, or hair, whatever camels have. It's amazing. It's made in Japan. I found this at The Lovely, and I love him so much. He's so cute. I love everything with fur on it. I'm sorry, PETA. I'm sorry. All right. And I love art, and I love traveling to see art and artists and everything that's happening. I just recently went to New York City and saw Josh Sperling's work at Gallery Perrotin, and he does these incredible, ginormous pieces of art like this, even bigger, but he stretches the canvas himself, and I'm just super, super excited about all the things happening in the art world. And of course, since we're here at Full Sail, here's a $65,000 piece of paper with my married name on it that I no longer have. I wonder if they'll give me a new one. So I got my master's here at Full Sail, so it's nice to be home of sorts. I did do my master's online, which was kind of a unique experience. So that's kind of me, and I also have this presentation that's all on little index cards, just like how I learned in speech class all those years ago. So here we go. The bad news is first. Since we're talking about social media, we're going to be talking about your phones, first of all, and the way that you use your phones and how it affects you and it affects your relationships. So here we go. Apps are designed to hook you. They are scientifically designed to not only get your attention, but to keep it. The algorithms are made so that you will not close out of applications at the moment that they think you might be considering closing out of an application. I just want you to let that sink in for a second. Thank you, Raina, for putting this on your phone. It's fascinating to me, and I know Darren can probably speak to this too, the sociology side of it. Your phone essentially is a slot machine, right? So what I have is a slot machine. And why is that? It's because of that sense of excitement, right? You don't know what's going to happen next. When you swipe open your phone, when you push that button, you don't know what will happen. It's like pulling the lever on a slot machine. And so that intermittent reward system is what keeps us going back to our devices, which is, I do it too. So, and my phone, where is it? There it is. Brain change can happen, which is really interesting because I've been in social media since it started. My first job using social media was in 2007. I was working with a company using MySpace, and it was revolutionary. The way that our landscape online, our devices have changed the way we think about our lives and what we do. So your brain literally is altered by what you have in your pocket, the light that you see, the ads that pop up. Do you know what that's called? It's a focused state of distraction. And so with a focused state of distraction, your brain is having to take in and take in and take in. And it's really fascinating because when you think about, my background's in education, you think about the way that children learn to adapt to their environment, to take in information, to react to certain situations. And here we are, little hamsters, doing exactly those things. We're focusing on the 5,000 ads that you see every day. We're focusing on the pop-ups on our screen, on our websites. When I worked at UCF, first social media manager of UCF, thank you very much, there was an IT guy, right, who came to marketing and said, okay, we want you to have a panel of screens on your wall. I was like, great, okay, that sounds super cool, like minority reports, I can touch them, we can do all the analytics, and it's great. I said, okay, all right, so I want 12. And he said, no, you can't have 12 because the health section of marketing and talking about screens and our behaviors with them said you had to limit yourself to 6 screens, which made me honestly at the time sit down and think, do I need 6 screens? What am I going to put on each of the screens? Then I'm going to be staring at these all day. Is that really important? But this is how people work now. It's incredible. So when you think about how you work and the screens you look at, you have this focused state of distraction. It can change the way you sleep, the way you eat, the way you pay attention to TV shows. More and more I'm hearing reports about kids who cannot watch television shows without subtitles because they're on their phone or their iPad and watching the show, and they're not able to take in that information without reading it, seeing it, and hearing it, which is fantastic and terrifying. Not only is it altering the way that you take in information, but it's actually changing your learning style, because each one of us is primed to take in information in a specific way. Maybe some of you learn best by taking notes or doodling, right, tactile while I'm talking. Maybe some of you have to look at something or hear something. And now to know that kids have to do all of those things at one time in order to retain it, it's changing our brains. So, one of the most important commodities that we have as individuals is what? Wait, who said attention? Yes, attention and time. The way that we use our devices, we are choosing to live our lives by the attention we give them. It's taking our time and attention away from real life, which is not healthy. It's not good for us. It changes the way that we think. The other thing, too, is it changes the way we behave in social situations. I recently was at an event. I go to a lot of them. And because I am in the tech industry, obviously everyone has phones and laptops and computers. And I met someone, and her partner was standing next to her, a man. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And I'm talking to him, and he's just looking at his phone screen. Like, literally doing things on his phone screen and I guess pretending to listen to me. I don't know, I was talking to him, but it was such a weird thing because I felt like was I there or wasn't I there? And why isn't he paying attention to me? But is he paying attention to me? Because I do that too. So is that wrong? Is it bad? There's a word for it. It's called phubbing.
Maybe it was just
No. No. Hi, how are you? Wait, let me write that down. Phubbing is phone snubbing. I didn't know this was a word, but apparently it is. I mean, if it's in Urban Dictionary, it's a word, right? Phubbing is phone snubbing, and I have been guilty of it, although in the past year, things have changed dramatically for me. I left my position as social media manager of UCF last March, 1 year ago. And at that moment, you guys, it was unbelievable. As a social media manager responsible for 65,000 students and the message that your university puts out into the world, your crisis communication part of your brain is always on, right? Think about this. What if there's a fire? What if there's a chemical spill? What if a student commits suicide? What if there's an active shooter? Am I trained well enough? Is it going to happen? And am I going to respond in time? What am I going to say? Are we prepared? That's always on. And I didn't realize that for the past 5 years, prior to that, first social media manager of Rollins College, props to me, thank you. For the past five and a half years, that part of my brain was constantly active. Worst case scenario, worst case scenario, worst case scenario. Am I ready? Am I prepared? Do I have enough training? I think I do, but do I? The day that I walked away from my office, I packed up my car, and I drove away, and it switched off. And I can't describe it for you unless you've been through a situation where something has been active and it's no longer activated. It was like suddenly my brain was on vacation, and I don't want to go back to that. I could not go back to that. I realized the damage that it's doing, and it wasn't just the device, it was being in that situation. So serious respect to all of the first responders and everyone out there working in emergency, because it's really, really takes its toll. But good news. Yay! Habits are hella hard to break, but here are 5 things that I do. So, when you talk about your device and you think about how you react to the world and the space around you and the phone you have in your hand or your iPad, even your computer, there are things that I've done to this thing right here, this little computer. One is turn off all your notifications. Now, I understand that if you run a business or you are you have a parent who is sick or ill and you need to be reached, that there are certain notifications you can leave turned on. But what I've done is turn every notification from social media off. So I choose what gets my time. It doesn't come up on my screen. And that's really helped me a lot. The other thing too is built into the operating system for an Apple device. I'm not sure about Android devices or Google Pixel devices or Firefox devices. You can track your time. So you can see exactly how much time you're using every day in your social apps. 3 weeks ago, I was almost up to 5 hours a day. I would wake up and reach for my phone and spend an hour and a half on Instagram. An hour and a half. I would go to bed at night, fall asleep with it. It would be in my hand. It was Instagram, Pinterest. It wasn't even about competition. I think it was just the act of scrolling, right? Kind of puts you to sleep. It's meditative. It just happens. And then when the app knows that you've been there a while, it feeds you new information, so you're not going to close out. So setting time limits. Within iOS, you can actually turn off the apps that you tell it to turn off. So all of my social media is on a timer for 1.5 hours. And that's everything except for Facebook Creator, which is, if my show went dead after an hour, I might be kind of in trouble. But all of my social media apps are no longer accessible. You can, in emergency, extend it for 15 minutes at a time. But I see it and they're blacked out and I know, okay, that's it. I'm done today. And I don't go back in. And you know what? It's all fine. I didn't really miss anything at all. Maybe some cat pictures, which is my favorite thing. But I didn't really miss anything, right? There's not that emergency, there's not that urgency anymore of needing to know, well, what did this person do? What happened here? It's gone, which is incredible. The other thing is I bought an actual alarm clock, which I forgot to put in here. I bought an actual alarm clock, and my phone goes in the kitchen at night, and it's not near my bed. Obviously I can't use it if the social media apps are turned off, and there's no way I'm checking my email. So it's just in another room completely, and it's no longer part of that habit of grabbing for it and picking it up. And that's what it is. It's a habit. It's this tactile thing, right? It's like a security blanket. Just feeling it is like, oh yeah, I have my iPhone. It's all good. I have directions. I have menus. I can do whatever I need to do with this. I lived in a time before that, and it was fine. I just realized I don't really need it. Okay, so putting it far, far away. And now we're going to talk about, so now what? How to get social in real life. Daisy, can you come up here and help me for a minute? Because you're going to be my little go-to gal. All right, I want some of you to think about for a second, when you were growing up, you had social networks that were original, right? That didn't require any technology. What are some examples of social networks that are not online? Telephone, okay. Think about groups that get together, right? So, Girl Scouts, yes. What, huh? Running clubs, choir. Game night. Okay. Yes.
I had a notebook with all sorts of personal questions, and it would
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
That was
Okay, so like a note. Yes, it was like 100 questions or a notebook with questions in it, and you pass it throughout your friends. Actually, I did that with my best friend. Okay, what's another example? Raina, give me an example. I'm going to call you people up by name. Raina, give me an example of a social. What's an example of a social network? What do you do with your friends? Where do you go and hang out?
The guest house. Bars.
Okay, bars? Perfect. Yeah, you go up to your local watering hole and you hang out with your pals, right? Okay, what's another example? Anna. Movie night, great. What?
Well, when I was growing up, I used to just look out my bedroom window because I could see down the street to see if my friend's parents' car was in the driveway. And if the car was in the driveway, then I knew my friends were home, right? So that was our signal. Like if my parents' car was home, she knew then I had to be home.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So now my husband and I go for a walk in the neighborhood, and we see if our friend's car is there. Like we're like, oh, they're home. We might just like stop in and say hi to them. So when we're taking a walk at night, you know.
Okay, so now the online equivalent is in Facebook Messenger when you have the green dot active now. Yeah, yes. So the active now in real life. Okay, what are a few others? I have some written down, which didn't come up. Gangs. Like good and bad, right? Because that's a social network. You're with your friends who have the same interests, and maybe it's not legal, but you're still together. A quilting bee, a sewing club, poker night, the checkerboards. Like in Central Park or near parks in New York City, the people who gather at those like giant cement checkerboards, they're there every morning, all day. The old dudes who get up in the morning and go to McDonald's, that's a social network, right? Get the paper, get a coffee, you sit with your friends right there at McDonald's. Bible studies and coffee clutches. I don't know what the clutch. What is clutch? I didn't look that up.
Chickens chatter.
Oh, no, that's cluck.
No, but a clutch of chickens. Isn't it called a clutch?
Is it a clutch of chickens?
What a bunch of chickens is a clutch.
Clutch of chickens.
Right? Yeah.
All right, sorry. I'm sorry. This is what a presentation, and I have like 45 cards left. Okay. All right. So essentially, we have to build our in real life social network. Right? Things are a little different now, but you do still have interests. Graphic design, feminism, getting together with your friends and drinking kombucha instead of cocktails, getting creative in quilting or sewing or knitting, whatever it is. You get together and there are, drink and draw? Drink and draw happens, right? Get together with your friends and you drink and you draw and you play designer Pictionary. That all happens. That's all building your network. But think about this. Your network is your net worth. So you may be hanging out in these places with your friends, but you also have jobs to do, networking to do in terms of your professional growth, right? Experiencing the world in a specific direction with intention. So I'm going to talk for a second about when you come into an environment kind of like this one where there are some people here who may not know each other, or you're going to mixers. Mark and I just talked about this, how uncomfortable both of us are when that happens. I fake it a lot, but... But he does a really great job. Yes. Okay, so in building your network, number one is to enter with confidence. So Daisy's going to come into this event, come up the ramp. She's going to come into this event where I am and I'm hanging out. She's going to come in with confidence, right? You got to fake it till you make it.
Hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. Okay. So confident. Second is before you go to an event, you want to plan. What is that one thing that you want to accomplish? Maybe it is kicking it on the dance floor and just getting energy out. Maybe it is, I want to get 10 business cards from new connections tonight. Maybe it's, I just want to make one new friend connection. But if you go into an event or a happening and you have this one thing in the back of your mind, it will make it much easier because it's not this overwhelming, what do I do here? How do I handle things? It's, oh, I need to do this thing. Okay, so how do I do that? This one is really funny because it should have been first. Like, it's okay to not go. If you are overly committing to things and you're too busy and you look at your plan, you look at what you have going on, it's okay to not go. It's okay to say no to events that you've been invited to, and it's okay to say, I'm going to take a minute for myself. The fourth one is really interesting, and it's super helpful. When you go to an event, look for pairs of people. Don't necessarily look for that one person to talk to, but if you look for pairs of people, like if Daisy and I went to an event together, or we're standing together, you coming in can do one of two things. Maybe I need to go to the bathroom, take my attention away from Daisy. I'm not sure how to get out of this conversation. You're relieving me. I love you. But you're relieving that tension, so you're entering into a new conversation, maybe people you don't know, but you're also kind of lightening the load for us because she doesn't have to listen to me droning on about how much I hate my job or whatever my day was like, and I can really get out of the conversation and go to the bathroom and do whatever I need to, and suddenly you're here, this new face that maybe neither of us know, and that's kind of fun. All right, so, where's my name tag? Because that's part of this. Okay. We're going to talk about names and handshakes. So something that you may not know, and I see a lot of people who do this. I like how Avery's is like right in the middle of his chest. Here's the thing about name tags that is a really fun business school kind of tricky info thing. Wear it on your right side. Always wear your name tag on your right side. Okay? I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why right now. Naturally, when you meet someone, even in this day and age, you're going to shake hands with them. And if my name tag is here, Daisy's eye naturally goes to my name tag. If I'm like this, she's going to have to peer over and try and figure out what my name tag says, right? If her name tag's here, I'm looking right at it. I just break one quick break, and then I'm right back at her face. I know exactly what her name is. And it saves you time and effort. It keeps you right in the conversation. It flows so much better. I'm just going to give you that one little tip. It's so helpful. And it's really helpful for me because then I suddenly am not wondering what her name is or where she works. I can instantly process that if her name tag is in the right place. Yeah, exactly. So then we talk about handshakes because you go in for the handshake, and as women, men, I don't care how you identify yourself, purple people eater, you're going to have to shake people's hands. I actually read this, like Ask Dear Abby, those letters that people write into newspapers and stuff, and they complain about things. Well, one woman was complaining about how this man came up to her and tried to shake her hand, and she was really upset because of the germs. She was like, I can't believe he would think that I would shake his hand. I can't believe he shook hands with me. He forced me into this uncomfortable situation. Okay, so I'm going to say that's possible, but our society mores have dictated this sort of process for saying hello, right? And maybe it was started by dudes, but that's okay. That's the way we do things, and it's actually a gesture of friendship and camaraderie. I'm reaching out my hand to you, right? I'm not holding it back. I'm not being closed off and not accepting of you. I'm holding my hand out to you because I want to know more about you and who you are. Come into my space, right? You're shaking someone's hand. So there's nothing wrong with it, and go for it, right? But don't super go for it. Okay, so we're going to shake hands. We're just going to meet. Hi, hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay, so firm, quick, release. Don't be creepy. Hello. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, how are you? Hi. Hey. Yeah. Maybe one second, just a quick hello. That's it. Unless you're in Japan. Also, a quick little tip, if you're planning to go to Japan because the Olympics are happening next year, quick little bow. Just a quick little, that's it. That's all you need. Nothing fancy. Just thought I'd throw that in there. If you are in France, you go left, right. No real skin contact unless you're super intimate with that person. But yeah, just a quick air kiss. Here you go. Even businessmen. Even businessmen. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for that. So I want to talk for another second about body language. I mentioned that a handshake is really a hand out, right? Like you're reaching out to someone and bringing them into your personal space. Remember when you are at an event to be open. You want to be open and receptive. This standing back and like, what do you want? Is not going to work. If your goal is to get 10 business cards, you're going to have to just be open. I'm going to throw you a couple power poses for the women in the room because they work exceptionally well, and I cannot describe it other than maybe it's because we're like monkeying what dudes do. I don't know. All right, so you're at an event, and you're talking to people, a little, like keep them hip width apart, hands on hips. Unbelievable responses. Like, oh, she must know what she's talking about. Like, she gets it. She's got it. And it's the confidence thing. It is honestly the confidence thing. You can fake it so well just with how you position your body. One hand on your hip, you've got this. Like, hey, I'm easy, breezy. Come approach me. I can talk to you. I can shake hands. Look at my name tag. Woo! So it's the thing, right? The other thing is if you're sitting in a chair, which I don't have here, it's kind of cocky, but I don't care. So if you're in a meeting, just like strong arm it. Like, sit in your chair, open up. Get as wide and as big as you can. And it totally works. It makes people think that you're in a position of authority, even if you're not. Even if you don't know what you're talking about, just sitting back, staying quiet. Yes, LaToya, do it. Yeah. The other thing is if you like cross, not like a lady, but like this way, like man spread a little bit, you can double that effect. Yes. Now imagine doing that in a job interview. Got the job. I'm telling you, the way that you position your body can put off this air of confidence, even if you don't have it and you don't feel it inside, you're nervous. I'm telling you right now, Chad, you've got it. Do it again. Do it again, Chad Cameron. I think it depends on the company. Yes. I mean, if it's all part of the game, right? And the game really exists, and this might be another talk that I could do, but the game really exists, and women have not been taught to play it. We have grown up, so many of us, as little girls told to be nice. Fuck that shit. I am not going to be nice anymore. No, it's too, I already don't get paid the same amount and I have to work extra hard. And if I did choose to have kids, which God forbid I do, then I would be looked down on like, oh, I have this thing to do with soccer and has nothing to do with my job and I don't have time to do my actual job. It is another presentation. Okay. All right. Everyone has social anxiety. Every single person. If you don't have social anxiety, it is a proven fact that you are a psychopath. Awkwardness is amazing. It is authentic. It's okay to be awkward and it's going to happen. If things are planned out and you meet someone and they're speaking perfectly well and they know exactly what to tell you, run away. Ted Bundy did that. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a couple of things about, wait, how many cards? 3, 4. Are we okay? Are we okay with time? Okay. All right, so A-R-E, R, right? If you're having a conversation with someone, it's a little uncomfortable, just remember R, like, are you here? A is anchor. You're going to anchor yourself to the other person or in that situation. You're going to find that common thing, right? We're all here at this event. And I'm going to walk up to someone I don't know, and I'm going to say, hey, this is a really cool event, isn't it? Like, how did you get here, right? Second is reveal. I guess I should have said that psychopaths use this too, but that's okay. R is for reveal. So you reveal something about yourself. Like, oh, I'm really excited to be here today because I really, really wanted to see the panel of gentlemen talking about how they're allies for women. And then 3 is encourage. So you're asking a question from them. And you say, what did you think about the panel? Or what do you think about the event? So you have these 3 tools, anchor, reveal, encourage, to help those questions just happen naturally. And it's good to just keep that in the back of your mind. And for the most part, practice actually makes perfect. The more you go to events, the more you network, the more you communicate with other people of different backgrounds, different races, different nationalities, the easier it's going to be to sit at a dinner party with 6 people you don't know and start conversations. I'm telling you, it may seem like hell on wheels, but you can do it. Here's a tip for the gentlemen in the room. I did add this card. When you're speaking with ladies or those who identify themselves as women, compliment an article of clothing, not their body. So, hey, that's a cool jacket. Thanks, Avery. I do have a cool jacket, right? So compliment article of clothing, a behavior. You ran that race really well, right? I love how you perform. I love how your presentation, how you speak publicly. It's really cool. Or an accomplishment. I can't believe you did XYZ. Or I'm really excited for you that you did XYZ. It actually is a good rule of thumb to think of when you're speaking to small girls as well, young girls, talking about their accomplishments, their behaviors, the clothes that they're wearing rather than their personal, how they look. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so nice, right? I mean, manners matter, but still. The other thing too, some 3 quick tips that I actually learned from a friend, Ricardo Williams. Shout out to him. Wear a watch. So this is something else that helps because you're on your phone, right? A lot of people have a tendency to use this as their phone. But the quick perception is that you're moving your attention away from someone to your device. And because you have this habit that's bad of like flipping through, it's very easy to look at your time and then flip through and start your natural progression of doing things. However, if you wear a watch, just a quick look, and it's not, hey, I have to go, I'm not paying attention to you. It's, oh, I'm aware that we're having this conversation. I'm not pulling my focus from you. I'm respecting you and honoring you, but let's go hey, it's lunchtime, let's go get lunch. Or hey, let's do this, right? Wearing a watch, and this is like a $2 watch from my niece. It has a cat wearing glasses. Just having a watch on takes that phone out of your hand. You can leave it in your bag. You don't have to have it. You don't have to have it by your side or interrupting your interaction with other people. The other thing is always carry business cards because you just never know. And I'm going to be honest, starting Townie Tourist has been a really fascinating journey. I actually started it out of anger because I was listening to a podcast and someone said something like, oh, it's in Orlando. What's in Orlando? And there was silence. It was Ink Uncensored. I'm going to call them out. And there was silence, and the woman on the show said, nothing? And I got pissed. There's so much happening here. So I started Townie Tourist with the intent of really growing awareness of our communities and our neighborhoods and our culture here in Central Florida. But what's happened is I'm the Townie Tourist, right? So it's not like I can hide behind UCF or hide behind Rollins College or Schumann's Produce and I'm an onion grower. I'm actually the Townie Tourist. So people know my face and my voice and how I feel about things. So when I'm in Publix in the tampon aisle and I run into someone who says, excuse me, aren't you the Townie Tourist? I'm like, what do I say? Yes? So having a business card on you because you just never know. You could be anywhere and you start up a conversation with someone. Maybe it is in the tampon aisle. Maybe it's at the checkout. Maybe you commiserate over why is there 7,000 kinds of yogurt? You're standing there. You have no idea what to pick. And neither does the woman next to you or the man next to you. And you're like, that's an opportunity, right? That's that shared anchor moment to start a conversation. You could practice this anywhere. It would be really fun. Okay, so take your business cards. And the third one that I really want you to remember is that awkward is okay. It's super okay. And I just want to underline the fact that everyone has a certain level of insecurity. Every single person. They perceive themselves very differently than the way you perceive them. You as an individual, that's you, right? Take that confidence, fake it till you make it. It's okay to be awkward. Wear a watch, approach two people, have a firm handshake, wear your name tag on the right side, and you got it made. Ta-da! Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? No questions? Avery.
If you don't have a pocket,
Yeah.
available to hang your name tag on.
Like me, like I don't have a pocket. Yeah.
My collar, would you suggest like a collar?
So here's the thing about events with name tags. This is great. This little swirly clippy thing is great. Sometimes you don't have this. All right, if you want to go way out there, you can get your own name tag made. Just saying. It's like $4. But the swirly clippy ones are great. Try and put it like right here. So people are not moving their gaze, and you can clip it right to the fabric. Because it's not a pin, it's not going to make a hole, right? So the pin ones, kind of dangerous, especially if you're wearing silk. But the clippy ones are good. That's perfect. Yeah. And because it spins, it's not going to sit like sideways. But yeah, the higher up it is, the better. Because I have boobs, and that's sort of weird if someone's like, oh, hi. Also, the higher up it is, the better, because your eyes don't have to travel so far away from someone's face. When you're shaking their hand, it's just a quick cursory glance, and you're back into looking at their face and going on with the conversation. So the higher, the better. Yes. Anything else? Yes.
I was just curious, you were discussing earlier about social circles outside of like social media, especially proactive or else prevalent in our society.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your favorite, like, in the day with it, what would be like one that you really favor if you were to name one?
You mean of my past?
No, like,
Of just-
like away from social media, like social circles.
Wow, that's really hard. Okay, so I'm going to say two things. No, I'm going to say one thing. No, I'm going to say two things. Okay, America, we're going to get a little deep. Mark's favorite thing. America was founded by Christian white men, right? And the society that they built was built around a common religion. And that was the way it was for hundreds of years until it wasn't, right? And our societies until the 50s, 60s were very much revolved around that Christian history. The church was the third place. It was home, it was work, and it was the church. And so you grew up with your church friends, you went to church events, and that was like your anchor. Maybe civil work, right? Civil government. I think that for individuals, that's still very much true, whatever their religion is. So that third place, that community that's maybe social networking in real life, would be their temple, their mosque, their Wiccan circle of fire, bones, I don't know. Drums, right? Yeah. So whatever that is, that practice, that community where you have that same core value of beliefs in that belief system, I think that would be one, for sure, today. That is one of them. Let's say you don't have that, right? You're, what is it, atheist, agnostic, atheist? Atheist, right? You don't have that, and you're like, okay, I need to find a social network or a network where I can socialize. Any one of these for me, like what are the things for you? You like cooking, you like baking, you like creating things in the kitchen. So it would be a community of like seeking out other people who like to do that thing, and that would be your anchor community. I really struggled, and I'm going to be truly honest. I was on the board of AIGA for a few years, and my position there was in PR and social media. And I felt very alone because social media at the time was so new, right? And Orlando didn't really have a community of people who were doing the thing that I was doing. And it was hard. It still is hard. There are a lot of people now who do social media. However, it's a really different landscape and it's changed a lot. So I would look, and I tried to look for organizations that were women in tech and women doing things in terms of communication design. And I didn't really find it, so I made my own. But a lot of people don't want to take that or work that hard to take that initiative to create a community. It really is your choice. Like, how much effort do you want to put into it? What's that return on effort, right? Because you're investing your time, which is your number one commodity. What is it you want to get back? I would say Anna and I actually created a group 2 years ago. Did you want me to say this, or do you want to talk about it? Anna and I created a group with another friend, Dina Mack, 2 years ago, because there were not a lot of women's groups that didn't have an agenda, that didn't have an itinerary or a mission or things to do, and it all felt like work. Like I'm all for organizations that want to support the community and be involved and dive in and invest. However, I really wanted to find a place where all of that noise, because I was on social media all the time, all of that noise was gone. I could turn off my phone, I could put things away, and for 1 hour, I could just show up and be me. And there were no expectations for the way that I performed. There was nothing on an agenda that I had to prepare for. I just had to show up. And well, there was that anchor. The anchor was pastry. So Buttermilk Bakery became our home for women, and we got together once every 2 weeks, so twice a month. We get together, and they're a group of women. There are about 70 of us now. However, not everyone comes because that would be crazy. Also, there's still no agenda. There is no mission. It's just show up and be who you are in that moment. If you need to, there have been women who have shown up and we have talked them through shutting down their business that they have loved. We have supported them and loved them, and we've dealt with divorce and death and losing pets and losing friends and relationships dying and relationships succeeding and getting married and having kids and not knowing if you want to have kids. Like everything, we've covered the gamut over the past 2 years, and it's still going, which is amazing. And you just show up. So if any of you women, sorry, guys, sorry. However, if you identify as a woman, you're more than welcome. But if you're interested in joining, please see Anna after the show. Yes. And we'll get you plugged in. And we change. One of the meetings is always at Buttermilk Bakery, and the other one, it kind of travels around the city because we want to support other businesses in our city and growing businesses. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody.